They lined the streets from early morning to get as close as possible to the first African-American president of the United States, even if it was just his motorcade. And then an outburst of jubilation in Accra, Ghana.
Welcome to Ghana.
The first country in sub-Saharan Africa to host President Barack Obama. And as the president went out of sight to outline his vision for the continent, Ghanaians crammed into any place they could find with a television set to watch him.
The 21st century will be shaped.
Some were just delighted by the mere sight of him in their own country. They cheered when he praised Ghana's progress, but also when Mr. Obama spoke about the continent's shortcomings from which they have not been spared. President Obama may have come here to highlight Ghana's successes, but this country is far from perfect.
We have suffered too much from government's corruption, from poverty, from inability of providing good education.
The failure to invest in infrastructure and a heavy reliance on commodities that Mr. Obama pointed to as having stunted growth and made African economies vulnerable is as evident here as it is in Nigeria. And the lack of clean water, sanitation and adequate healthcare services have been as detrimental to Ghana's population as any other on the continent. But it's Ghana's perceived seriousness in dealing with corruption, its record of good governance and relatively good economic growth that have earned it the title of a successful model in Mr. Obama's eyes. So will his one-day stop in Africa to deliver a critical speech laced with some inspiration and motivation make a difference on a continent that is struggling to stand on its own 2 feet?
If he apply what he says, definitely, yeah, it's going to make a difference. But if he doesn't, well, it will be the same thing as it is here today.
I think it is not like one of those speeches that the white leaders normally give us without any fulfillment. But when he spoke, he straight and he was very much emphatic about what he was saying. And you can see from what he was saying that this man meant something for Africa.
President Obama is not the first Western leader to highlight the continent's failures and weaknesses. But this time, those words came from a man Africans consider one of their own, a man whose own personal history will make it hard for those resisting reform by any means possible to dismiss as patronizing or racist.
At the end of his historic trip, Mr. Obama left the continent having made a critical promise to support an Africa that is willing to uplift itself. Nkepile Mabuse, CNN, Accra, Ghana.